Furious tides split the heavens. Oceans bow before me. Face your destruction. Tides rise and crash. Windstorm, sweep all the way.
What's up everybody, AJ here, back again with another review. And it's been a while since the last video game review I made, which is on Atelier Yumiya. You can check that out at the end of this video. But I'm not here to talk about Atelier Yumiya. I'm here to talk and give my thoughts on a gacha game that I thought I won't be playing it, but I ended up did, which is called Wuthering Waves. Now, for those of you who have no idea what Wuthering Waves is, Wuthering Waves is a free-to-play open-world action role-playing game developed and published by Kuro Games. You play as a character called Rover, and you're on a journey to rebuild the world while trying to reclaim the Rover's lost memories. It's basically Genshin Impact, but the world is kinda post-apocalyptic. And considering the fact that Wuthering Waves is a game that receives consistent version updates, this review is done as a version 2.4 being released. Also, for the sake of simplicity, I'm gonna call Wuthering Waves wuwa for short from here on out. What the hell? So the very first thing I'm going to talk about is the gameplay and combat. The gameplay of wuwa is pretty much how a hack and slash game is, where the combat is pretty much fast paced like Zenless Zone Zero and Devil May Cry, where you just mash one button to perform multiple hits of attacks, you press their skill button to activate the character's skill, press the ultimate button to activate their ult, and of course it has dodge mechanics where pressing the dodge button at the right time to perform a perfect dodge, and then do a follow-up attack after a dodge. But it also has parry mechanics as well, where when an enemy is about to attack you, there's gonna be moments where it will pop out two circles on the screen, and once those two circles combine into one, that's when you press the attack button to parry the enemy's attack. That's how the parry system works in this game. And I'm pretty impressed with the gameplay and combat of this game, as I prefer fast-paced combat like how Zenless and DMC is. But what took me aback is that it only allows 3 characters in a team instead of a team of 4, which Genshin and Star Rail had. At first I was wondering why a team of 3 instead of a team of 4, as I went in having the assumption that it's a Genshin-like. So I assume that the team composition is going to be a team of 4. But after some time playing this game, I pretty much understand why Kuro Games decide to make the party a team of 3, cause sometimes less is better. And come to think of it, a lot of other RPG like Final Fantasy, the Tales series, and Atelier Ryza, they pretty much consist of a team of 3 when entering combat. So I can understand why Kuro Games took the 3 characters in a team approach. And another thing that stands out in this game compared to other gacha games is that it gives you the capability to either summon a monster or transform into one for a short amount of time. And these monsters called echoes in this game also serves as your artifacts or relics, where you equip these echoes, you increase the character's stats. And the nice part of the game when it comes to these echoes is that it not only gives you the option to recycle these echoes, where you combine 5 echoes that you don't want and turn it into one, the game also gives you the option to change the main stat of these echoes, which is a big deal, because one of the biggest issues of any gacha game that has artifact or relics involved, you have to go through an endless farming just to try and get the artifact with the best stats possible, which is very time consuming and it might burn you out. So having the option where you can change the main stat of an artifact make the quality of life in this game so good. Speaking of quality of life, there's a lot of stuff in this game that I'm pretty impressed with. The game gives you the option to skip certain story scenes, and the game gives you a story summary if you decide to do so, just like how the mobile version of Grand Blue Fantasy does it, where if you decided to skip the story, it gives you a summary of what happened in that story before you proceed. And the game is nice to let you know that this is going to be a long story, so the game will notify you that this is going to be a long one. So do you want to proceed with the long story, or do you need some time before proceeding with the story quest? Another thing about wuwa is that the main character's gender can be switched at any time you want, which is nice. But the only setback is that once you have switched the gender of the main character from male to female or vice versa, you're gonna have to wait for 24 hours if you want to switch the gender of the main character again. Also, they made the material farming so much easier, where if you want to search for materials to uncap characters, weapons, and increase the level of the character's skill, you do this, the game will show you where the materials are located at the minimap, and you can travel to said location at the nearest teleport waypoint possible. Long story short, the way Kuro Games handle the QOL in this game is so freaking good. And I can understand why a friend of mine who has been playing wuwa since day one was reluctant to jump back to Genshin, because the QOL in wuwa is just that good. My only criticism with the gameplay so far is that during one section of the game where I'm at a location called Mount Firmament, the enemies in that area have a higher level than my max characters at the moment of time, which kinda prevents my progress to proceed with the story, cause I'm literally getting my ass whooped by these monsters who have way higher level than my characters. And I don't really like that aspect of the game, to be very freaking honest. But other than that, I'm pretty satisfied with how the gameplay and combat is in wuwa.
Loading. Iron graft you knew.
Before I continue on, there's something that I need to point out. I had no intention to play wuwa at first, mainly because of the burnout I suffered from playing Genshin, to the extent that I just don't feel like playing another Genshin-like game, and the character design in wuwa doesn't pique my interest or grab me at first. Up until Zani first appeared in version 2.0, but she's not playable until version 2.3, which comes to the next part of the review, where I'm going to be talking about the characters in this game. As I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, none of the characters in the first nation, called Huanglong to be precise, grabbed me, up until I reached the Black Shores, where I encountered characters like the Shorekeeper and Camellia. But what really sold me are the characters in Rinasita, particularly Zani. Cause here's the thing, there are times when you wanna try out a game, but if there's not a single character that grabs you, you might be reluctant to try out said game. It happens in RPGs, it happens in fighting games, and it happens in gacha games as well. Which is the reason why I didn't jump into Wuthering Waves on day one. Simply because there's not a single character that grabs me up until Zani appeared. Which is the main reason I started playing wuwa. And as I continue progressing with the story of wuwa, there's more and more characters that pique my interest, such as the likes of the Showkeeper, Camellia, Kalora, Phoebe, and Yuno. Overall, most of the character designs are good, but some of the character designs are kinda too much for me. I know some of you thirsty gooners out there be jerking off to Cantarella's great assets, Camel Toe, or Fleur-de-Lis's fat ass, but I personally don't like how some of the character designs being too revealing. A little tease is fine by me, but revealing too much of one asset is too much for me, dude. Here's another thing I noticed about the characters in this game. Majority of the playable characters in this game are females. I personally don't mind the male to female ratio, but unless this game is meant for male audience, or Kuro Games decide to design more cool looking playable male characters, I don't think this game is capable of bringing in more new female audience into this game if wuwa keeps releasing more female characters. Just my personal thoughts. And one last thing that I really gotta highlight. The voice acting in this game is so good. I'm talking about the English one, by the way. And not to mention that this is one of the very few games where you get to hear the characters that speaks in English in a different accent, particularly British.
Looper's the name, gladiator by trade. Guess we're acquainted now after crossing blades. Care to tell me your name?
And Italian.
Just as we fight alongside echoes, the glory of Septimont is upheld by heroes who support one another to remain steadfast.
So a huge shout out to every English voicer out there who put in their effort into this game.
Thank you. You've done well.
Again, the smile. That damn smile.
Sorry. It's just a habit.
Overall, I enjoy playing Wuthering Waves, and I would argue that this game is better than Genshin Impact in many aspects. It's unfortunate that I won't be playing this game in the long run, not because I don't like this game, it's just that I just have way too many games that in my backlog that I need to beat. But if there's new playable characters being released in the future like Yuno or the Showkeeper getting a rerun, then I might consider jumping back into this game. And as a matter of fact, I spent a total of 115 hours into this game. That shows how much fun I legit had with this game. So I would highly recommend you all to check out Wuthering Waves, especially for those of you who are done and through with Genshin's shenanigans of not really listening to their audience. I mean, how much longer is it going to take to fix the lipsticks in Genshin, however? Like, how much longer, huh? Anyway, in terms of score, I give Wuthering Waves an 8.5. And remember, this review is done as a version 2.4 being released. And that's my review on Wuthering Waves. If you guys want to check out my entire playthrough of Wuthering Waves, the playlist will be at the end of the video. Appreciate the thumbs up and the comments as well. And if you guys want to check out more stuff on this channel, please feel free to hit the subscribe button down below. With that being said, my name is AJ. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you all have a good one, and I will see you all in the next video.